All right, I've got an elevator up here simulating motion. It's not in the right place, it's fairly close. And then what I did was, I can't do this with two hands, is attached a long pole here to approximately where it's going to simulate the aileron push tube. And it's fine coming up here, but when it gets down to here, it's going to start rubbing on that. This is what it feels like it's going to happen. So when the elevator is in the down position, as that horn goes up, you can see how close it comes to that cross member. So there's the elevator up, it's no problem, but when it gets to about there, that's when it's going to want to start hitting on that cross member. This is just really loosely in there, so I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not. And I'm just simulating with a half-inch by half-inch piece of wood there, where it's going to go back and forth, and as it comes up, it's going to want to hit on there. Has anyone come across that issue? Now, I can't remember who it was. I don't know if Eric was talking about how he bent his aileron tube. There's bends that are supposed to be in it, and maybe it's to get around that. I would really like if it was absolutely straight from beginning to end, rather than putting any kind of bends in aluminum to get around this. I'm thinking, I'm not even there yet. It might clear with no problem. But what I'm just looking is ahead, that it might be easier if I take another cross member off up here and brought it down and just had this up a half an inch and then cut that piece out of there. That might give us enough room to have that torque tube in there. And then all you're doing is moving this, get that out of the way, this joint, instead of being right in the corner, is going to be maybe onto here, which is still pushing on the corner, and you can block it so that the pressure is going onto the corner, and then come off of that with a torque tube, a cross member that comes down and mounts down here. So, just thinking about that and what I might do in the future. I would rather have a straight aileron torque tube and a little dent in this rather than bending the torque tube to fit around a straight line here. This straight line can be moved, even if it's moved half an inch up. The strength would still be there. And then we get a straight torque tube, which in my mind would be a better solution. Just a quick one today. I've got a question. So I'm setting my stringers in here. I've got these three gluing up. This one, I'm just figuring out where to place it. Now, what I've done here is set up the wing root template, if you want to call it that, where it's going to be. I've got my spar carry through for the rear spar in place. This mounts onto the rear spar of the wing and it will insert into here and mount the wing to the plane. Now, according to the plans, this only goes through 1/2 inch into there. So the bolt's going to be right at the very end there, and that just goes in like that. The question is, for my design and for the regular design, the stringer would come off of here, follow this down to about here, and then here, all the way down. If we get it in line there, you can see this is bent out a bit. It's going to come down and in a bit. So you can see that that just comes through and will mount in a bolt here. Now, these wings are supposed to move, be removable, folding. If this is permanently bolted right here, that's fine. But it's going to be pretty hard for it to rotate unless it's out this way a bit and has the ability to rotate. But how do you get the bolt in there? If you've got fabric covering this, you've only got maybe not even 1/2 inch there, because this stringer would come right over top of that. And on the bottom, right here, this is going to be a piece of plywood for the upper deck of the hat rack. So you're not going to have any space below there for a nut. This is just mine. I can move this out of the way. This is nothing. I was just practicing where it's going to go. So you've got no room below there, and you've got no room above there to remove this nut and bolt that's going to be here, or pin or whatever you have here. So that's got to be in one place. I'm assuming the wing rotates on this back mount, something like that. You couldn't have this on here anyways, because you have to be able to rotate that all the way in to get the wing pointed backwards. So you wouldn't be able to put this on anyway, unless it was tucked way in. But regardless of that, is this bolt then permanent? It's just put in and it never moves? I'm looking at that because I want to know where to put my stringer. If you had a stringer here for the stringer for the real plans, you wouldn't be able to put a bolt in there. You might be able to put a bolt from the bottom going up and slide a nut underneath there, because that stringer is going to be sitting right here, like that. Which is fine. When I'm going to mount my stringer, wherever I'm going to mount it, whether it's up here, down below, or whether I build a block to go over that and then just mount the stringer onto the block, I'm still trying to figure out how that actually works. And like I said, the plans call for only a 1/2 inch inserted into there. So that pin has got to be right near the end and right near the end. So about like that would be 1/2 inch. That's maybe even more than 1/2 inch. About like that. That doesn't seem right to me, but I thought it would be in a little bit more to give it a little more bite, but I don't know. Anyone know how that goes?